this is somewhat of a repeat. You can hit that stop button if you want to. You know how when you go to a nicer restaurant, they sometimes serve you your own little individual loaves of bread. Those are just the neatest little things, and it's fresh bread right out of the oven. And I just want to put another little plug in. I found out when I ran the numbers, which I put this someplace else on another video, when I ran the numbers, that the cost to make those little loaves of bread can be between 4 cents and 8 cents, depending on where you buy your flour, how much money you want to pay for your flour. I think that the 8-cent flour is worth it, but the 4-cent flour is fine. So I think it's on Great Depression video 5, and then there's another place on the channel where the recipe is. But on Great Depression video 5, it's actually printed out for this bread recipe, and it's a French bread recipe, and you can alter it if you want to. But it's really a no-fail bread recipe, and you can out of this recipe you can get 2 French loaves that are about yay long and yay big on a cookie sheet, or you can make them a little smaller and get 3 French loaves, or you can divide the recipe in half and make a smaller recipe, and you can get 10. I think it's 10. No, must be 10 small loaves for, I think it's 10 small loaves for the whole recipe. So if you wanted like 5 or 6 or 7 little loaves, you could use half a recipe. But you just can form them in the shape of little French loaves and put them on a cookie sheet, or you can use the small bread pans that are about yay big, bigger than maybe a couple of this, about the size of 2 sticks of butter put together. Not quite that big. I think they're a little smaller. At any rate, depending upon if you're going to just make them into little French loaves or if you're going to put them in little bread pans, it'll depend on the size of your pan. But you should be able to get at least 10 or 12 or 15 or so out of the whole recipe. So for 4 cents a loaf or 8 cents a loaf, depending upon how much money you pay for your flour, you can have these lovely little loaves, and it's great for stretching the meal, but it's so easy to make this recipe, and it doesn't take very much time, and you can actually prepare the dough ahead of time if you like as well, and keep it in the refrigerator and then take it out and form them. But I won't go into that right now. If anybody has questions, I can answer them. But it's just a great, simple, little cheap recipe. But the enjoyment of having the fresh bread come out of the oven at home, and the magnificent aroma in the air is worth a little bit of time, even if you don't have time except to do it on the weekend. Sometime on the weekend would be great. Anyway, that's boring and it's dull, so go to Great Depression video part 5, and you'll have the recipe printed there for the white bread recipe. You can also substitute partially with wheat flour. I wouldn't go overboard with that. I probably wouldn't want more than 50%, and probably a little less. That's just my opinion. For what it's worth. Have a great night. Bye.